Got it. Here's part 3, 1,500 words, of the article titled, Kevin Spacey erupts on Entertainment Tonight after heated exchange with Piers Morgan, part 3. The fallout intensifies. In the days following his tense sit-down with Piers Morgan, Kevin Spacey's emotional revelations continued to ripple across entertainment media. What began as an introspective interview on Piers Morgan Uncensored, where the Oscar-winning actor admitted to crossing lines and being too handsy, soon evolved into a full-blown media storm. But the situation took another turn when Spacey appeared on Entertainment Tonight, in what insiders described as an attempt to clarify his earlier comments. Instead, the segment spiraled into what many viewers perceived as a volatile and uncomfortable exchange, one that left producers scrambling and audiences stunned. Sources close to the production told reporters that Spacey, already under immense emotional strain, seemed on edge from the moment the cameras began rolling. The Entertainment Tonight host reportedly attempted to revisit parts of the Morgan interview, particularly Spacey's acknowledgement of inappropriate behavior, but the actor grew visibly frustrated, insisting that his remarks had been taken out of context. "I'm trying to rebuild my life, not relive every accusation that's ever been made," Spacey said, his tone sharp but measured at first. "People hear what they want to hear. They take a clip, twist it, and suddenly it's front-page news again. That's not the truth. An attempt at redemption gone awry." According to multiple accounts, the interview was intended to be a softer, more humanizing platform, an opportunity for Spacey to discuss his financial troubles, his efforts to return to acting, and the emotional toll of the past 7 years. Yet, as the questions turned toward his career hiatus and the controversy that derailed it, his composure began to fracture. A source within Entertainment Tonight described the tension as palpable. "Kevin came in wanting to talk about forgiveness and moving forward," the insider said. But once the conversation circled back to the Piers Morgan interview, it was like something inside him snapped. He wasn't shouting, but his energy shifted. It was raw, painful even. During the exchange, Spacey reportedly accused sections of the media of weaponizing regret and turning contrition into entertainment. His comments drew uncomfortable silence from the studio audience, many of whom weren't expecting the conversation to take such a combative turn. "What people don't understand," Spacey continued, "is that I've already faced the consequences. I lost everything, my home, my career, my reputation. How much more do they want? When do I get to be human again?" Reactions from the industry. Clips of the Entertainment Tonight appearance quickly circulated online, with social media users divided over whether Spacey had been unfairly provoked or simply unwilling to accept accountability. Some viewers expressed sympathy, noting that Spacey appeared genuinely broken by years of public scrutiny. Others viewed the interview as another example of the actor's tendency to deflect blame and center himself in the narrative. Prominent media commentators weighed in as well. Journalist and cultural critic Lena Morell described the segment as a collision of guilt, pride, and pain. Spacey's appearance on Entertainment Tonight wasn't a meltdown in the traditional sense, Morell said in an op-ed. It was a man wrestling with the collapse of his identity in front of millions of people. He wanted to be seen as reflective and remorseful, but what came through was defensiveness and despair. Meanwhile, entertainment publicists noted that the incident could complicate any attempt at a Hollywood comeback. "Studios want stability," one veteran PR consultant explained. "They don't want volatility or unpredictable interviews. If Spacey hopes to return to mainstream work, he needs to show calm, not confrontation." Behind the scenes, what really happened? Production staffers later shared that the Entertainment Tonight team had initially planned to pre-record and edit the segment for broadcast later that week. However, due to Spacey's unpredictable emotional state, producers opted to air it with minimal cuts to preserve authenticity. That decision, while praised by some for its transparency, also fueled controversy. A senior producer, speaking anonymously, said the aftermath was chaotic. Once the cameras stopped, Kevin stayed in his seat for a long time. He was quiet, just staring down at the floor. Eventually, he said something like, "I tried to do the right thing and it never matters." It was haunting. According to one crew member, Spacey left the studio without engaging with fans or staff, escorted by a small security detail. Within hours, online clips began trending, reigniting debate about whether Spacey should be allowed to return to the entertainment industry at all. The public response. The reaction was immediate and polarized. On platforms like X, formerly Twitter, hashtags like hashtag Kevin Spacey interview and hashtag Entertainment Tonight began trending. Supporters defended him, arguing that years of accusations, some unproven, had left him emotionally devastated and unfairly ostracized. Critics, however, accused him of using emotional appeals to evade responsibility. One viral post read, "Greater than, Kevin Spacey crying on Entertainment Tonight doesn't change what happened. Accountability isn't a performance, it's a process." Another countered, "Greater than, he's been cleared in court. Let the man work again. Hollywood forgave worse." The divisiveness underscored a broader cultural debate: when, or if, a public figure accused of misconduct can truly reclaim their reputation. Spacey's case, like those of other fallen Hollywood figures, remains a flashpoint in that ongoing conversation. A career in limbo. Despite the backlash, Spacey continues to hint at potential projects overseas. Reports suggest he has received tentative offers from independent European directors interested in casting him in low-budget dramas. Still, major studios remain cautious, wary of associating their brands with lingering controversy. An Italian producer who worked with Spacey on the 2022 film The Man Who Drew God described him as a brilliant actor carrying an invisible weight. He is still one of the most gifted performers alive, the producer told Variety anonymously. But he knows the industry in America isn't ready to forgive him yet. He's walking a fine line between redemption and rejection. In recent months, Spacey has also reportedly sought counseling and expressed interest in speaking publicly about personal accountability and growth after public disgrace. Yet, as his Entertainment Tonight outburst demonstrated, the path to rehabilitation remains fraught. The broader context. Spacey's turbulent reemergence mirrors a familiar cycle in celebrity culture, one where confession, backlash, and attempted redemption blur together. In an era where public opinion moves faster than due process, the line between repentance and reputation management becomes increasingly thin. Media analyst Drive, Fiona Cross argues that Spacey's struggle is emblematic of the entertainment industry's selective morality. Hollywood loves a comeback story, she explained. But it also needs a villain to remind audiences of its moral high ground. Spacey's dilemma is that he's both an artist capable of brilliance and a symbol of downfall. That duality makes people uncomfortable. Inside the emotional breakdown, in the most talked about moment of the Entertainment Tonight segment, Spacey reportedly raised his voice when pressed about his relationship with certain former colleagues. "I've apologized where it was due," he said, "but I can't keep paying for the same mistakes forever. People say they want honesty, but when you give it to them, they crucify you for it." The host attempted to redirect the conversation, but Spacey pressed on, visibly trembling. "Do you know what it's like," he asked, "to have your entire existence reduced to a headline? To have every kindness you ever showed turned into suspicion?" That raw display of emotion, part anger, part sorrow, dominated coverage in the days that followed. Some labeled it a breakdown, others saw it as a desperate plea for understanding. What comes next? As of now, neither Entertainment Tonight nor Spacey's representatives have issued formal statements about the encounter. However, insiders believe the actor may take another extended break from interviews. Those close to him insist that despite appearances, he remains committed to rebuilding his life quietly, away from the glare of controversy. "He's tired," one longtime acquaintance said. "He thought talking would help, that maybe people would see his humanity again. But every time he opens up, it feels like the world just wants more blood." For Spacey, the episode represents another painful reminder of how little control he has over his public image. Whether he can ever reclaim a place in Hollywood, or even in the court of public opinion, remains uncertain. Conclusion. The Entertainment Tonight confrontation may not have been the explosive meltdown some headlines suggest, but it did expose the deep fractures that remain within Kevin Spacey's psyche, and within the culture that made him a star. His struggle for redemption continues to play out in real time, across screens and headlines, as both media and audiences wrestle with the question of forgiveness. Is Spacey's emotion genuine contrition, or the performance of a man trained to control a narrative? That question may never be answered to everyone's satisfaction. But one thing is clear: Kevin Spacey's story is far from over, and each new interview seems to open another chapter in a saga that refuses to fade quietly into history.